Hello and welcome to a presentation on social media campaigns. We are in the home stretch here of this course, and if you're looking at a social media campaign video here without having seen anything before or having looked at any of the slides beforehand, that's on a social media overview on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, some social media advertising, influencers, all that stuff. If you haven't seen those, um, I would recommend checking those out, unless you're a little bit more advanced and you are just in it for the campaign side of things. So let's go ahead and dig in again. Head on back and check out all the stuff beforehand, if not, because we bring it all together here for the idea for the topic of social media campaigns. And a social media campaign, or I guess starting even more broad, is a campaign overall is just a set of planned, coordinated activities that have a single goal. Now, this is not a new concept. This is the idea behind integrated marketing communications, and that's what all of these elements here are on this slide. So you have things like advertising, PR, radio, email, all of those things go into a marketing campaign, and they can also be integrated um, really into a social media campaign if done correctly. You know, if you think about a social media campaign, it doesn't just start and end with posts. You know, you can promote it via these other platforms. So if we think about, what you can do, advertising obviously can apply to social media, but something like public relations, that's something where you can have a press release about a social media campaign. You could put advertising from TV and radio, promoting a social media campaign. You can, have email marketing about it. You can put web pages up. You can host events. All those things can relate back. And when you think about a social media campaign overall, it is a part of the larger integrated marketing communication uh, kind of set of activities. So, if you want to define a social media campaign and make it a little bit more narrow, this is a coordinated social media effort to reach your target audience while achieving a specific goal. And it's really, I mean, unlike the social media strategy, we start with the big idea. We already know what our audience is. I mean, we'll eventually narrow it, but what is why are you doing this? What are you trying to accomplish with it? But then also, unlike a strategy, it has a fixed start and end date. Um, a campaign is something where it is time sensitive. If it just goes on forever, then it's more of a strategy. Um, but if when I'm thinking about campaigns, I think about something that is based on current events, based on maybe a time of year, or anything else that gives it relevance based on this moment in time in which we're living. So, you know, think about all the social media campaigns that you've seen. We've all seen them at some point. Um, they are not limited to advertising, which a lot of people mistake for. It's really based, I mean, advertising is one part of it, but there are several levels to social media campaigns. And I look at the Ada funnel as a way to use this. So you've likely seen funnels like this in the past. I mean, you might have seen the three-step version that doesn't have that desire stage. And I remember when I was a grad student, we had to memorize a 10-step buying process. That is not at all what I am trying to show here. In reality, you could use all of those. But if you're going to operate within the confines of a social media campaign, we're going to use the AIDA funnel. So we have four steps. We have attention, interest, desire, and action. Uh, it's over 100 years old. This has been around for a long time, but it can still be applied today. Attention up top, that is everybody that has ever heard of your brand. That is where advertising goes. advertising is meant to reach a new audience and grow the attention group. Now, it could also do more than that if it captures the attention of someone who already knows your brand. It can push them down into the next step, which is interest. That is in the action where your audience is sharing information, identifiable information. That is filling out a form, that's giving your brand a follow. That's anything that is showing initial interest, but it's not a ton of effort. It's not a high touch effort. That is where the desire comes in. That is where, for a traditional buying process, the AIDA funnel desire would be like putting an item in your online shopping cart. You want the item, you have it, you're ready. You haven't actually taken the final step to purchase it yet, but you're right there. With a campaign, the desire step is right before the conversion. Say it's a sweepstakes, right? And people need to submit their information, fill out a quick form. Then I mean, that's where you see kind of a condensing of a couple of these layers, but it's where you can go as far as possible before actually pressing submit. Action, that is the conversion. Whatever the goal of the campaign is, if it's people entering a contest, if it's people providing a photo, if it's like a caption contest and they're like writing a caption, it's all the submissions. It's whatever your end conversion is to make the campaign a success. Now, again, depending on the type of campaign, it might make more sense to condense this into a 3-step process. But if you think about also, think about new product launches. If you have a campaign laid out for a new product launch and the goal is to actually make sales, then the desire step is to literally put that product in your online shopping cart. Or maybe it's not. Maybe you just like, hey, I want to get people to sign up for to subscribe to my new email newsletter. That would mean probably visits to a website would be the desire, where they're not filling out the final form. And maybe you say interest is following your page on social media or commenting or something. There's a lot of different ways to go about it. The end goal though is to get people through this funnel, and this funnel provides a sense of structure and hierarchy in terms of the actions. Now, if we think about the actions, you want to talk more structure, then we have this. There are 8, I believe, steps to a campaign, and it starts with the planning, which is the before. There's the during, which is really just the campaign itself, which is 1 step, and then after, which is the reporting afterwards. I'm going to go through all of the steps, some a little bit more detailed than others, in the second video, because I planned on this being a 2-part module for the course. So up next, we're going to at least get through the before steps, hopefully all of them. But just know that with social media campaigns, the planning, execution, and follow-up afterwards, those are comprised of 8 steps. It's a little bit different than the funnel. The funnel is more about how the campaign exists, and that these will apply to one of the steps coming up. But in general, and when it comes to the planning, we are looking at an 8-step process, which we will do in the next video. So that will be coming up next.